So you've played Terraria, and you've watched One Punch Man, but have you ever wondered what it would be like if Saitama was in a Terraria universe? Okay, let's be honest, he'll probably punch every single boss to an oblivion, but at one point, Saitama was a weakling. He was a nobody. He had hair. So this is where we begin our journey. So with the help of the WeaponOut mod and the One Punch Man progression mod, we can slowly become the greatest hero on earth and defeat the Moon Lord. So the first thing I did was create my character, and I tried to make him look like Saitama himself. Now as for the world generation, I made a small world, but I did put on master mode and did the Crimson biome for a little bit of a challenge, even though that did nothing. I also named the world Japan, but in hindsight, I should have named it Z City. After spawning into this world, I was cutting down trees and found a person cosplaying as a fucking orangutan and was probably trying to have e-sex with his AI girlfriend, like the ones you see in ads. You know which ones I'm on about, since they're everywhere on YouTube. Anyway, so while I was making the NPC capsule houses, I crafted my first weapon, the wooden Tekko. So now I can fist my actually fight enemies and bosses. So after I finished making these 3 capsules, I made some wooden armor just so I could die by getting suffocated by balls of sand. So while I was looking around on the weapon section on the recipe browser, I made the iron knuckle dusters. I then went over to my jungle just so I can get some loot, but I don't know if this is intentional or I'm just crazy, but I feel like you get way more loot in the jungle compared to any other biome, apart from the underground mushroom biome. Maybe I have brain damage. Oh yeah, I definitely do have brain damage since a fucking boulder flattened my head out of nowhere. But I did go back to the jungle and noticed that this area was awfully suspicious and found another boulder. I then destroyed it, but the boulder wanted revenge, so I didn't die to the next boulder. In fact, I noticed it and destroyed the pressure plate, but I did die due to fall damage. So now I'm a bit tired of running all the way through the jungle, so I just dug a elevator. So 1, I can go all the way to hell, duh. And 2, get some ores and heart crystals on the way. But while I was mining, I was killed by a baby slime. You know, you may have killed me, you little prick. I just want to let you know that I fisted your mother. But I actually had mined enough platinum ore to make the platinum pickaxe and a brand new weapon called the platinum knuckle duster. I then went back into my unfinished elevator and found the underground mushroom biome and got many more platinum and heart crystals. So you may have noticed a slight stat buff as soon as I use the heart crystal, and that's because of the One Punch Man progression mod. So let me explain how this works. So you get your power upgraded by killing enemies and bosses, taking and dealing damage, increasing your max HP and mana, and seeing God multiple times, or Satan. So that's how you improve on your main stats, and if you constantly take damage, your character has a damage reduction effect, which as a certain percent you gain a new ability that can be plus 25% mining speed to full debuff immunity. And there's even a setting in this mod configuration that automatically enables a higher difficulty. But honestly, this mod is so overpowered, especially since the weapons I'm using requires you to be a lot closer to your enemies and therefore giving you more damage and way more defense. So even with those 3 factors combined, yeah, this is very overpowered. But you know what isn't overpowered? Getting KO'd by a hoplite. So that was nice. I then made a platinum chestplate and you guessed it, went back to the hole. And you guessed it again, I saw God. Oh my god, can I please go just 2 minutes without dying in agony? Nope, I got incinerated. I then needed a bit of a break, so I built more NPC houses. Did this NPC just throw a love potion at the traveling merchant? Yeah, that guy is kinky. I mean, just look at him. Anyway, I went back down to the underground to get some more platinum and heart crystals. And I feel like a broken record player since I'm pretty sure I said this like 3 times already. So you may think that I'm just really good at dodging, but in reality, I was just missing my punches since controlling my attacks was very hard since there was like a lunge, and when you go attack your enemies, you kind of face towards them and move in that direction so you can constantly attack. But if you miss input or you simply miss, then you'll just get hit since you're like a bonus length away from the enemy. And looking at my health right there, I was one shot. So I had to time this perfectly. Okay, so I couldn't react fast enough. So after seeing God on a regular basis, I got more life crystals and took out a pregnant mother carrying triplets. Take that, nerd. So now I'm in a sky island, and to be perfectly honest with you, I have no idea why I went up here, but I died. The only thing I remember is being on a call with a friend and... hang on. Did Michael Jackson touch the... Whoa. We don't need to get into that. Anyway, I used a Spelunker potion and mined so much platinum that I just had enough to make a platinum armor set. After I realized I made 2 platinum chestplates. Oh my fucking god. After what felt like a century, I finally got a full set of platinum armor and crafted the tenderizer. That doesn't sound seductive. I then relapsed and went back to the jungle, and I'm pretty sure the boulders have like generational hatred towards me since I spawned in a boulder, but with my quick thinking I saved myself and the Terraria gods blessed me with Hermes boots. But I did die to a prickly slime, so whatever. So I then got a message that the Eye Cthulhu was watching me. I went back home and crafted the spiked gauntlets and for the Eye Cthulhu. So I defeated the Eye Cthulhu, and if you defeat a boss with a knuckle weapon, you get a special accessory that's based on the fisting weapons. Yeah, I need to stop with these fisting jokes. I then made some gem acorns so I can get the magic storage, and would you believe it? I found another boulder. I then got enough gems and materials to make the magic storage and made some more NPC capsules. I then wanted to get some brain off Cthulhu loot, so I went to the Crimson Biome and made an arena, but it took forever to build since the wall creepers were so horny. I would kill a spider and 2 more would spawn in. Anywho's, I built an arena, went back home to grab some potions and fought the brain of Cthulhu, which was super easy since these little rascals were easy to fight anyway, and the gauntlets caused poison damage every time, so it was easy to identify the real brain of Cthulhu. So after I killed the brain of Cthulhu, I fought it again and won. So next I made myself the Deathbringer pickaxe and made the Crimson armor set. I then brought a mining potion and an obsidian skin potion so I can mine some Hellstone safely. Once I got enough Hellstone ores, I then used the infinite water glitch to make a lot of obsidian to make some Hellstone bars. I then made the molten pickaxe, the molten armor set, and made the Phoenix mark. So I then went over to the outer thirds of the world in a forest area, since a goblin scout was spawning these areas and I wanted to summon the goblin army, but what felt like hours, more like 10 minutes, I decided to sleep days upon days to let the goblin army spawn in naturally. So after defeating the goblin army, I used the hunter potion to try and find the goblin tinkerer. So once I found the goblin, I only wore the rocket boots for now, since I was a broke bitch. I then made a couple more NPC capsules so I can get the goblin tinkerer to live here. So now I need some cash so I can purchase the Tinkerer's Workshop, so I fought a couple of Eye Cthulhus. So now I just got enough money to purchase the Tinkerer's Workshop and made the Spectre boots and the Lightning boots. So now I wanted to start fighting Skeletron, but first I wanted it to not rain so you guys could see me clearer. So I slept for a couple of days so it would stop raining, and then went over to my dungeon, and on the way I collected some meteorite ores. But as soon as I arrived to the dungeon, it started raining. I legit slept for a couple of days just so it wouldn't rain, and now look, it started raining again. So then I just started building my arena for Skeleton here. I then went back home to make the comet food with the meteorite bars, and the combo is basically a meteorite that shoots from my fist and fights Skeletron. Once he was defeated, all I needed was a cobalt shield and the materials to get the cerulean claws, which is basically the knuckle duster's version of the Muramasa. And with the 3 other knuckle dusters, I made the demon hand, which is basically the knight's edge but as hands, and its combo increases my melee damage at the cost of some of my defense. I then also reforged it to the ruthless modifier because the ruthless modifier gives the most damage percentage boost. I then made an insta bridge and went down all the way to hell and used it. Wow, look how useful and efficient that is compared to manually placing down every single platform. I then used a couple of battle potions and a water candle so I can get the guided voodoo demon to spawn in and then get the guided voodoo doll. Once I did that, I went back home, bought some potions, reforged my accessories, realized I needed one more heart crystal, so I got that. So the next thing I had to do was throw away the guide voodoo doll in the lava to spawn in the wall of flesh, but I realized I saw some in my inventory and probably put away the guide voodoo doll. So after the walk of shame, I spawned in the wall of flesh. Anyway, so I just beat the wall of flesh and straight after fought the golem army, wasting more of my precious time. Once that was over, I was going to go to my sky island and farm some wyverns for souls of flight, but the wyverns came to me instead. So once I got enough souls of flight, I went to my hollow desert to farm some pixies to get the pixie dust, and then get the adorable pixie wings, so Saitama can fly like a Disney princess. But in order to craft the wings, I need to make an orichalcum anvil, so I then went over to my crimson biome and destroyed some altars to get the cobalt, orichalcum and adamantite ores. I then went to the underground to get some new underground ores and made the pickaxes, the fairy wings, the adamantite melee armor set and the adamantite fist. I then went to the underground of Crimson to farm the Swords of Night and Ichor so I can craft the Blood Bagnax, and luckily it was crafted with the legendary prefix. I then built an arena so I can fight the mechanical bosses, but first I wanted to get the melee emblem so I can get the 19% increase in damage with the menacing modifier. So I thought no wall of flesh, but I got a summoner emblem. But you can go to the shimmer and drop it and get the warrior emblem. But first I fought the twins, but this fight took a bit since the twins AI likes to just fly around and use range attacks, like Spasmatism flies around out of my range, so once they charge at me is when I could do the most damage. So now that I fisted some twins, whoa, pause. I then went to the shimmer so I can get the warrior emblem that I would have got if I didn't slide off the blocks and fall into the shimmer. After I got that, I made the hollowed Varm Brace and waited for it to come nighttime again and fought Skeletron Prime. So I then killed Prime and then spawned in the Destroyer since I had enough time and was the easiest boss to kill and the most boring. I'm going to be honest here, there's nothing I can add to this part. I just did a 1-2 combo and killed the Destroyer. Since I killed all the mechanical bosses with the first weapon, I got 3 accessories and I merged those into a single accessory called the Scrap Exosuit, which improves life regen while moving, parrying will steal life, and using combos will store life, reduces cooldowns between dashes and grants 8 defense. I then made the Shaolin robe and the Shaolin trousers, which is an armor made for the fist weapons, and also made the hallowed mask and also made the pickaxe axe. Next I fought the Queen Slime, and I'll be honest again, this boss fight was completely useless. The only thing I gained from this was the Queen Slime trophy and 5 gold coins. So now I want a wings upgrade, and the best wings I could obtain at this stage was the flame wings. But making the flame wings requires the fire feather, and they have a 2% drop chance from these fuckers, and they hardly spawn even with a battle potion and a water candle to increase spawn rates. You know, I killed so many red devils that I got the red devil banner, which means I killed at least 50 of these dinky donks. But I can actually craft the flame feather by having the red devil banner by using the solidifier. Now I'm able to stop fisting so many devils. Okay, I promise I won't make any more fisting jokes. Anyway, after that I grabbed some mining and spelunker potions. I went down to the underground jungle and mined some clarified ore and life roots. Once I got enough clarified ores, I made an arena for Plantera, so I do what I do best. And that's blowing stuff up. Once I did that, all I did with the clarified bars is make the clarified mask, grab some potions and fought Plantera. Now with Plantera defeated, I was able to get the barbed knuckles, which I actually dropped from Plantera herself. I then teleported to the jungle temple and fought Golem, which wasn't hard, but it took way too long compared to Plantera, since Plantera would just be in my face making out with me, but Golem would like to jump around and his arms would extend to such long distances I couldn't aim for the head. Also, controlling these weapons was just a pain in the ass to deal with. The only two items I wanted from Golem are the Pixel and a Golem Fist, since the Golem Fist can actually be crafted into a new weapon called the Strong Arm. I then made Beetle Wings, but I put the Flame Wings in my social slot since it looked cooler. Also, have a look at my mana right now. I haven't used a single mana star in this playthrough, by the way. So next I wanted to fight Duke Fishron, so I bought a fishing net, went down to the underground mushroom biome and literally cooked myself since there was two right next to each other just chilling, but my dumbass somehow kept going on the rope, so the closest one escaped, and when I tried to collect the other one, I accidentally killed it. I then bought some potions and even used some calamity based potions that were sold by the alchemist. So I then easily killed Juki Boy, and it actually dropped another fist weapon called the Breakwater. This combo actually allows me to teleport. That would be pretty useful to fight against the solar enemies. I then bought more life fruits so I can get the max HP, and now next on the boss list was the Lunatic cultist. So this boss, right, was a piece of poo to fight, since 1, his hitbox is teeny tiny, so I have to be precise when trying to attack him, and 2, he moves so fast that when I do have the perfect pinpoint Terminator programming shot, he just moves out the way faster than the speed of light. 3, this fucker just keeps on going up at supersonic speed, and before anyone says something like, "Moose, you have wings, you could just fly." Well yeah, but the wings are slow and I have a limited amount of flight time. And 4, I still can't control my hands.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Yeah, that's cool and all, sweetie, but there's no point of having this power if I keep missing my targets. So I can only attack him just after he's done an attack or when he's doing that duplication attack, since that's the only time he stays still like a good dog. Now up against the Celestial Pillar, starting with the Solar Pillar. This is probably going to be said one and only time, this was the easiest pillar to fight, since the enemies require to be close to the player. That's a plus, and the WeaponOut mod is now my favourite mod of all time. The same can't be said for the Nebula Pillars, since they would shoot at range, teleport away, use Jet's right click ability where she throws all the knives, or just straight up suck me dry. But I did beat it, and you can actually use the Solar and Nebula fragments to make the endgame fist weapon, called the Polaris Punch, which is combo ability is all these things combined, but it costs 900 combo power. So yeah, I didn't use it that much, but that's fine since look at that damage. So next I fought the Vortex Pillar, and that was a bag of piss. Then straight away for the Stardust Pillar and destroyed every living being there. So now the Moon Lord is coming. There you go, ladies and bitches. I successfully defeated the Moonlord, and to be honest, this just took a long time. Just like the cultists, except on less steroids, the hitboxes were small, but they were stationary most of the time, so I could easily just palm attack the eyes. Except when the heart was exposed. Since the Moonlord likes you to be just above the heart area, so it was a struggle to hit the heart since the Moonlord was just moved down so you're center with him again. So I would fly high to the sky, and then come back down from the heavens to allow myself to attack the heart. But in the end, I did kill the Moonlord, so that's it. Thanks for watching. See ya.